Hey guys, it's Nia from niaphillip.com and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to the Get to Know You series. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I am really loving making them. In this episode, I'm going to talk about what I've learned in therapy so far. I'm excited for this episode because I'm hoping that by sharing my experience, I can take away some of the stigma, stress, and anxiety that people feel around therapy. So let's get started. So I started my journey about a year and a half ago or so. I really started my journey because I was feeling at odds with myself. I was feeling very stuck. I knew that for my 31st birthday, I always said that the gift that I wanted was more of myself. And I knew that that would start with going to therapy and getting some of the healing that I needed. I had all of these emotions and feelings, but I had no idea where they were coming from or what they were connected to. And I really wanted to understand that. And I knew that therapy had to be my gift to myself for my 31st birthday. So that's where I started. So I knew to unlock the next level of myself, I needed to go to therapy to heal some of the traumas that I had. What I didn't understand is that most of our traumas start in our childhood. So I really learned that when I started going to therapy. I thought I was going to therapy to deal with sort of the most recent traumatic experience that I've had. But then I learned that most of those traumas that we have actually start in our childhood. And one of the ones that were replaying and playing over and over again in my life is my feelings around abandonment and being unwanted that was tied to being separated from my siblings and my mom when I was only like 7 years old. So I had no clue that that was even connected. And by going to therapy, I really was able to work through that and understand that some of the emotions and feelings that I have around abandonment, around feeling unwanted, that it had to do with being separated from my family. The crazy thing is that there was, a few years back, I got into a really ugly fight with my sister, and my mom was like, that's it, we need to go to therapy. So we're going to therapy as a family. And we went to a therapist, and she was so amazing in helping me understand how the separation between my siblings and I and my mom was connected, and how it was a completely different experience for each of us, and how that experience kept coming up and replaying itself in our current relationships and in our relationships in the past. And I was completely blown away. That one therapy session literally changed my relationship with my siblings, and especially my middle sister. We had a very contentious relationship, and by going to that therapy session and by continuing to go to therapy, we've been able to really work through a lot. And I had no idea that I would learn this going in. And it's literally one of the best gifts that therapy has given me, is to understand my childhood traumas and begin to heal them. And I can't even express how grateful I am for that, because it was because of that emotional weight that was lifted off my shoulders that I was able to clear some space within myself to do more and to become more of myself. So I'm so grateful. But yeah, we all have childhood traumas that we need to work through and figure out in order for our lives to unlock and in order for us to become the very best version of ourselves. The other thing that I learned is that I can be everything to the younger version of myself, right? I can be everything that younger Nia needed and wanted that she didn't get, and as adult Nia. And I think for a long time, like, my childhood Nia was like really, holding the reins, because she wasn't healed, and she was really kind of running my life. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's just like this thing that happens that you understand more and you start going to therapy, is that childhood wound, that childhood person inside of you, they're not healed, and they need to be healed in order for you to grow and become the best version of yourself. And we were at odds. Adult Nia and childhood Nia were at odds with each other. We needed to find a place to coexist and live together. And I needed to let myself know that you are an adult now, and you are capable of loving yourself and making yourself feel the way that you wanted to feel as a child, but you may not have necessarily gotten. And that was such a huge blessing and such a huge breakthrough, because so many times we think that, what we didn't get from our parents, or what we need to find in a partner, or we need to make our parents do it now, that we're adults. And it's just like, no, I can be that for myself. And it's the most beautiful thing. I feel like it's some sort of next level of self-love to really embrace that inner younger you, that can just come out and be so ugly and rear its ugly heads. You can kind of love her and make her feel safe and make her feel wanted. And that was a beautiful blessing for me when I sort of figured that out with my therapist. The other thing that I really learned through therapy is that the actions of others really have very little to do with me. We are all operating from a place of trauma, and from a place of unhealed trauma. And so many times what people are doing are their versions of coping mechanisms, of their versions of living well. And it doesn't have anything to do with you, or it doesn't have anything to do with me. So it helped me to not take things personal. It helped me to give people grace. It helped me to forgive and let go of things that I needed to forgive and let go, because it's like, this person is not even operating from their most beautiful healed self. They're operating from a hurt, traumatized place, which I also operate from time to time. And and even with going to therapy, I sometimes you get to that place. So I think it's just allowed me to have so much more grace and so much more humanity for other people. And I think those other people even also include my parents, because obviously you have this ideal version in your head of who your parents are, and they're your heroes, and they're supposed to do all the right things and make all the best decisions. And they're humans too, with their own traumatic experiences from their own childhoods. And in the age that at the time that my parents were growing up, them going to therapy, them getting counseling, these are things that never really happened for them. It's a privilege that I get to do it for myself. So that actually started with my parents, the understanding that they are not beyond mistakes. They are not above making mistakes, and they were operating out of a place that wasn't healed. So it allowed me to let a lot of that stuff go, and it allowed me to embrace my parents as human beings, as people, not of this perfect ideal version of them that I had in my head. And it just improved our relationship so tremendously, and I'm super, super grateful for that, because I would have missed that, and I would have missed the chance to connect with my parents on a human level if I hadn't gone to therapy and understand my own traumas, and then understand that traumas happen for other people as well. And finally, I think the thing that I got from therapy was the understanding that I need to allow myself to feel the things that I want to feel. So I spend a lot of time in my head, thinking, I want to feel loved, I want to be happy, I want to do this. I have all these emotions that I want to feel, but I do not allow myself to feel them when they are present, right? Like, I remember this day so clearly in my therapist's office, where she was just like, you need to allow yourself to feel things. You're gonna miss all of the moments that you so desire to feel, because you're constantly trying to figure out the next thing. You're constantly trying to figure out how to be better. Like, allow yourself to feel it. And I was just like, I started crying, because that at that point in my life, and really this point in my life, is the happiest I have ever been and the most blessed that I have ever been. But here I am in a therapist's office, complaining and crying and being upset about my life. And I'm really truly in a great space, but I wasn't allowing myself to embrace that or feel that. And my therapist was just like, you're missing it. You're missing it. Everything you want is right now, and you're missing it because you are so ahead. Take the time to feel it now. And that was such a beautiful gift. And it's really hard for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's very difficult for me to be present in my moments, to feel my moments. It's very difficult for me to do that. I'm always like, okay, what's next? And I really have to learn how to how to really feel my moments, That's all I have, I think that, everyone should go to therapy if they have the ability to go to therapy. I know it's not something that everyone has access to, but I really think that if you do have access to it and you are able to go, you should really go to therapy. It really helped me, you know, unlock the next level of Nia. And I really believe in everybody getting to that optimal highest version of themselves. And that's what therapy has been for me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts around therapy, please share them in the comments below. You can also, you know, send me a comment or a DM on Instagram. I love talking to you guys over there as well. Or you can send me an email. You can find the email in my link over in my bio over on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Obviously, I am not an expert. I am not a therapist. But I just wanted to share with you guys what I have learned, and hopefully it inspires you to you know, seek out some therapy if you're able to. Bye, catch you in the next video.